Good evening, I hope everyone's well today. Thank you for watching, it is appreciated as always. I've had comments over the past few weeks and months on my channel that say to me, Damien, Cheshire, why do you bang on about mass migration to the United Kingdom? My answer to these people is it's because it's never been democratically voted for. I'm big on democracy and I'm big on the demos, the people, actually getting what they voted for. If people have voted for mass migration and they voted in a government that said we're going to open the borders, we're going to let everybody in the universe come here and you're going to be paying for it, I'd be, fair enough, people are voting for it. I'd still argue against it and make videos against mass migration, but it might be on a less frequent basis because there'd be a democratic mandate there. As it is, we get parties, the Uni Party, Lib Dems, Labour and Tories all say they're going to reduce mass migration and end up increasing it, and they do it all the time, which is why Reform UK is doing so well in the polls. We had the Islamists out in London over the weekend, we had them outside Downing Street, and we had them in Tower Hamlets. Where's the Home Secretary on this, Shabana Mahmood? Why is she not condemning this and calling it out? Is it because she puts her Muslim identity before politics? Is it because she thinks she's Pakistani before she's British? What's the actual reason? This is interesting because she may be our next Prime Minister. Usually, the cabinet roles below the Prime Minister, whether that's the Foreign Secretary, the Home Secretary or the Chancellor, they're on the totem pole, they're next in line to be the potential Prime Minister. Alright? That's why it's important and that's why I'm asking these questions. It's important to know where their intent is. I think that the political correctness that's grown up over the past 20 or 30 years, essentially since Tony Blair reorganised the British state, Supreme Court, devolution, Ofcom, what have you, OBR, what else? Operational independence of the Bank of England. All of these things came in 1997. They are not the way that we do things in the United Kingdom. It's important because the Islamists, as I said, were out on the weekend and they did stuff like this, so I'll play the first clip. Actually, yeah, I'll do this one first, the one from London.
We're on the right side, bro. Yes, we are, bro.
So these Islamists down in London, with their useful idiots from Stand Up to Racism, clearly telling the Stand Up to Racism useful idiots they're not on the same side. That's what we're up against, and that's what the woke liberals are. That's in this country. Now, the mass migration issue isn't just in the United Kingdom, obviously, it's all over the Western world. We've got defence ministers, I think this is in Sweden, getting intimidated and followed by Islamists as well. I'm going to play this clip. I'm not going to play it all. I'm going to give a bit of a flavour, a bit of a taste. So we'll leave that one there, but you pretty much get the gist of what's going on there, alright? Now, our Chancellor is over in Saudi, currently on a trade delegation to try to boost support to the United Kingdom economy. So we're going to Islamic nations begging for their help to help our economy. Why is that? They've done it with the communists a few weeks ago in China. They've done it with India, who haven't got the same standards that we have, health and safety laws, employment rights and whatnot. So what happens when Angela Rayner's big employment rights bill goes through? It means more jobs are going to be outsourced to countries that don't have the level of rights that we do, and the native people in the UK get left on the scrap heap. That's one reason why I'm against going to these questionable regimes and begging for help. The other reason is you lose part of your identity and you've got to concede ground to get what you want, which is the trade deal. So when we go over cap in hand, what are we actually surrendering? What do we actually know about the deal? It's all behind closed doors, alright? So we've got this image here where Rachel Reeves is leading a trade delegation over to Saudi. She wants like 1.6 billion worth of investments, I think the number is. I'm going to read a bit of the article here. She's the first UK Chancellor to visit the Gulf in 6 years and is expected to meet Saudi royals, US administration representatives and global business figures. The visit comes as the UK continues in its efforts to secure a trade agreement with the Gulf Cooperation Council, which also includes Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar and the UAE. The government hopes for a deal with the GCC could add 1.6 billion to the UK economy each year and contribute 600 million to UK workers' annual wages in the long term. Reeves said, our priority is growth, and I'm taking Britain's offer of stability, regulatory agility, and world-class expertise directly to one of the world's most important trade and investment hubs, making the case in our national interests. So scruples, ethics, and principles go out of the window when it comes to money. As I previously said, there's more important things than money. And this is the issue. We don't know whether it's just diplomacy or courtesy or sheer dumb attitude of our leaders, that they don't actually understand the threat that the religion of peace actually has on the United Kingdom. I'm going to play this clip, and this is from an American liberal. He's called Bill Maher. Now, he is a Kamala voter, and he is a liberal, and he voted Kamala in 2024. So cards on the table. He's not a Trump voter. And this is what he gets to say about Islam. And I think it's illuminating because America's about 10 years behind us and he's calling out the BS. And I wish we had liberals in our country that would do the same, but we don't have any liberals in the country that do it. We have to create new political movements and parties.
Liberals should stop booing me for pointing out that Islam is not like other religions, that is a unique threat. And that
but it's not Islam you're against.
Radin on TV the other day, and he said something along the order of, he said, the people in ISIS are, I said, I'm about as Islamic as they are. You know, distancing the vast numbers of Islamic people around the world from it. That's just not true.
It is true.
It is not true, Charlie. There is a connecting tissue between...
You mean, behind every Muslim is a future member of some radical...
Let me finish.
I thought I was doing that.
There are illiberal beliefs that are held by vast numbers of Muslim people that I don't think...
Vast number of Christians, too.
No, that's not true. Not true.
This is a thing that he gets into in a moment, and it's instructive. When we look at our politicians in the United Kingdom that happen to be of this faith, whether that's Shabana Mahmood, Sadiq Khan, or Humza Yousaf in Scotland, alright? Are they a liberal? I would wager yes. They just don't say so openly. That's my assertion. I've got no proof to back it up, but that would be my assertion. We had our Home Secretary. She said, like, Islam and the Muslim faith is central to her life and it's the most important thing in her life. What does that actually mean in real terms? That's what I would like to know. This is the questions that have not been asked because people may think it's racist. It's not. It's not. It's one thing to know where a politician's loyalty lies, which is perfectly legitimate. Is it with her faith? Is it with her country? Now, is the United Kingdom her country? Is England her country, or is it Pakistan? She has said in the past that she's a daughter of Kashmir.
Vast numbers of Christians do not believe that if you leave the Christian religion, you should be killed for it. Vast numbers of Christians do not treat women as second-class citizens. Vast numbers of Christians
I agree with that.
do not believe that if you draw a picture of Jesus Christ, you should get killed for it. So yes, does ISIS do Khmer Rouge-like activities where they just kill people indiscriminately who aren't just like them? Yes. And would most Muslim people in the world do that or condone that? No. But most Muslim people in the world do condone violence.
I never knew this until this clip. Now, you can call me bigoted, you can call me an idiot. I didn't actually know that. There's over 1 billion Muslims in the world. Over 1 billion. I always thought that you've got about a quarter of these, maybe a bit more, maybe a quarter to a third that are the extremists. And they haven't got rid of the extremist elements in Islam. It's never happened. So unlike Catholicism, unlike Christianity as a whole, like Protestants and Presbyterians and whatnot, we haven't got these extreme elements in religions like they have in theirs. That's the first thing. The second thing is you've got a larger block that largely aren't the extremists. However, they have sympathies, and that's what it's getting at here. So while they might not commit the acts of violence themselves, they won't call it out because they're like, well, they got what they deserved really, or that's what they're thinking.
Just for what you think. They do. First of all, they say it. They shout it from
Vast majorities of Muslims
Absolutely.
say that?
There's a Pew poll of Egypt done a few years ago. 82%, I think it was, said stoning is the appropriate punishment for adultery. Over 80% thought death was the appropriate punishment for leaving the Muslim religion. I'm sure you know these things.
I know, well, I do,
So,
but
so
I
to claim
don't,
that this
I don't
religion
believe...
is like other religions is just naive and plain wrong. It is not like other religions. The New York Times pointed out in an op-ed a couple of weeks ago that in Saudi Arabia, just since August 4th, I think it was, they have beheaded 19 people, most for non-violent crimes, including homosexuality.
Those got the hands off the thief.
Right.
And these are the people that our Chancellor's going over with to beg for money, to beg for investments in the United Kingdom. Why aren't the Liberals calling this out? Why aren't Labour voters calling this out? Are you happy that our country is doing this? I know people say, pragmatism. Where does that end? Alright, how much of the soul do you have to actually sell, and you've assigned something vaguely human in you? This is disgusting. All of this stuff is absolutely abhorrent. And we've got our Chancellor going over begging, kissing their arses. Why? Why?
Okay, so we're upset that ISIS is beheading people, which we should be upset about. But Saudi Arabia does it, and they're our good friends because they have oil.
Right.
Okay? But they do it too. This is the center of the religion. In Mecca, where infidels, non-Muslims, are not even allowed in the holy parts of the city. I mean,
I didn't know this either. Okay, there's a place in Saudi called Mecca, and I'm going to mock it now, and I don't actually care. I always used to think Mecca is Mecca Bingo, which is what everyone's been to Mecca Bingo in prison. Alright? That's the only Mecca I need to know about. I don't care about this other one, they can have it, alright? But the fact that they don't let non-Muslims in, and I think there's wording that non-Muslims are infidels, that's what they refer to non-Muslims as, and they think that we're dirty and we're unclean and we need to be wiped out, or at least the extreme elements of the religion do. Why aren't the majority of the Muslim population? You never see them condemning it, you never see them calling it out. And I mean politicians in positions of power as well, you never see it. Why is that? Is it because they don't want to be alienating their voter bloc? Is it because they don't want to be seen as racist? Or is it because they don't want to piss off the Saudis?
right there, we don't have that example in other religions. Okay, they do behead people. Now, if they were beheading people in Vatican City, which is the equivalent of Mecca, don't you think there'd be a bigger outcry?
Double standards, and he goes on to say in a moment is the bigotry of low expectations, which is what I've said on the channel before. The Western world and the liberals in the West presume that they are holier than thou and they are superior to the rest of the world, which allows them to pontificate and say, well, we have to give them a free pass because they're not like us. That in of itself, that whole ideology, the two-tier policing, that whole approach is racist. Everybody should be treated the same.
About it. So this is the soft bigotry of low expectations that we have with Muslim people.
Yeah.
When they do crazy things and believe crazy things, somehow it's just not talked about nearly as much.
I do believe that what we see with ISIS is not representative of...
As I said, connecting tissue.
It's
No,
not representative of the
Right.
Islamic religion.
Again.
I don't think the Quran teaches them to do this kind of
Well,
thing.
you're wrong.
Oh, it does. Just like the Bible does, to be honest, it does. There is some stuff in the Bible that's pretty extreme. However, as I previously mentioned, the Christianity faith, or Christianity as a whole, has purged that extreme element from the religion. So you don't see what you see in Islam, in Hinduism, with Sikhs, with Buddhists, or Christians. You just don't see it. This is what I'm calling out, and this is what I'm calling bullshit on our Home Secretary for.
Wrong about that. the Quran absolutely has on every page stuff that's horrible about how the infidel should be treated. As Ayaan Hirsi Ali points out, she says, can we really say, well, and she would know better than either one of us. She said, can we really say that women are treated equally in the Muslim world? I mean, their testimony in court is very often counted as half. They need permission to leave the house. They're doing things like making them wear burqas, and I hear liberals say things like, well, they want to. They want to. They've been brainwashed.
Again, I tend to agree with Bill on this. If you're indoctrinated from birth that this is your life, this is how we act, this is what you must do, and you're never told any different, what else would you call that? Especially in Western civilization, we need to call this nonsense out. The whole thing is, I think when the liberals are calling out this nonsense, I think it's a three-pronged approach. They call us racist to shut us up. It's not that they don't want to be seen as racist. They'll say, I don't want to be racist. I don't think they actually believe that. This is just a tool that they use to keep us in check. This is why I make videos like this. We need to continue to call it out. I think the biggest reason is that the Gulf states wouldn't take too kindly to the Western liberals dunking on their prophet. And I think that's what it is. As Bill says, there are good friends because they've got oil. Now, if you like this video, and you think I'm onto something, you make me aware. As always, like and subscribe. You let me know in the comments below. Do you think that they don't call out the BS that we see on our streets all day, every day? Is it because they don't want to be seen as racist? Is it because they want to keep the Gulf states on side? Or is it they're just that dumb they don't actually see that there's a problem? As always, like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Have a good day.